Hi everyone, this is Heather Auger, English 121 lead faculty, and I'm excited to present to you all finally the revised English 121 course. It rolls out next week on 4/10, so if you are scheduled on 4/10 to teach the course, please review this video in length at this time. If you're not scheduled yet, just bookmark it or make sure to look for it in the CEDL when you are scheduled for the new course. The reason why we revised this course is we had the opportunity to revise the CLOs, the course learning outcomes, and we've shortened them to just 4. I'm going to pull up the course guide real quick to show you. This course guide is available in the course, and I'm also going to be sending it out to everyone. But if you look at the course learning outcomes, there are now 4 succinct ones. Develop strategies for reading comprehension of a variety of texts. Demonstrate the steps of the writing process. Use appropriate academic writing tone, style, citation format, correct grammar, spelling, and sentence mechanics. So we kind of lumped all that into one CLO. And then apply effective structural components in writing to accomplish a stated goal. And the stated goal is just whatever the assignment is asking for. So the course itself is centered around writing as a process. And so each week we focus on one step of the writing process. So by the time students get to week 5, they have successfully completed one full cycle of the writing process. So week 1 is brainstorming, week 2 is outlining, week 3 is drafting, week 4 is revising, and then week 5 is tying it all together and also doing a little bit of library research. A few things that you'll notice that are new about this course. We now have standardized guidances. They are embedded in each week. These are for the students to look at, obviously, but we highly encourage our instructors to adapt this and enhance it and then post it as your own announcement. You'll see it's a pretty stripped down summary of the week, and we want instructors to take this information to personalize it in order to show your own instructor expertise, and also add media or applicable YouTube videos or something else that, a current event or something that ties into the course material for that week. I will be sending out the instructor guidances to all the Tuesday starts, so be on the lookout for those, but they're also housed in the CEDL right now. And they're Word documents, so you can take them, copy, paste them, change them up, and then post them as your own announcement. Actually, let me go back to home real quick. Bear with me for a second. Okay. Also, a change from the previous course is that we're focusing really on one discussion, with the exception of week 5, which has 2 discussions. Week 1 has the poster introduction, and the requirements for faculty are the same for this discussion board. You need to respond to every single student during week 1 that posts in the poster introduction, but it's not your typical, who are you, why are you here, what do you hope to get out of this class type of thing. It's forcing them to have a connection right from the beginning with the writing process and interact with the theme of that week. And so they, in addition to just kind of saying who they are, they're asked to discuss what they know about brainstorming, the writing process, and their connection to it. Feel free to look at this in depth on your own time, but they also have to respond to 2 of their peers. And I apologize, my cockatiel is in the background and she's just saying hi to you all. So please tune her out if you can. Okay, moving on. So weeks 1, 2, and 5 have the same discussion structure. what we're having students do in this new course is they are going to be going to the Ashford Library, and they are required to access these essays. The essays are different for weeks 1, 2, and 5, and read each one of them, and then select one of the essays to write about in their discussion. And we chose a variety of different authors and different essays, and we grouped them into themes. So week 1, the theme is about place and setting an environment and one's place and how that affects who they are and their interpretation of the world. And so as students read these essays, we're asking them to then think about their place and their setting, their environment, and how that influences them and how they connect with the world. So all of the requirements for what they need to write about, it's right here. So also, take a look at those directions in depth, and there's guided responses for how they need to respond to their peers. Week 2 discussion is communication, and the theme for week 5 is speaking out. And so again, there's 3 essays for each week. They're required to read all of them. Tying in with those essays is the outline, rough draft, and final draft for this course. Week 2 is about outlining, and so their assignment for week 2 is to make an outline. What the final essay is, it's a critical response essay to one of those readings. They have to decide in week 2 what reading they want to write their final assignment on. And so we have them listed all here. We're asking them to take their brainstorming that they did in week 1 to the next level in week 2 and create an outline. And it's a really informal outline. We just want a thesis statement, think about their supporting paragraphs, and use it as a roadmap for how they will develop into a rough draft. We aren't looking for Roman numerals. We're not looking for topic sentence outlines. If students want to do that, that's fine. But we're focusing on that writing process and just getting their ideas out. And so that's the assignment for week 2. It's a waypoint assignment, so you'll need to go into there to grade it. And something that you'll notice that is new with this course as well are a series of writing labs. They're listed as quizzes right now. We've asked course development to go back and change it, and they will, but not for the 410 course. It will for the 417 course. So for right now, they're listed as quizzes, but they will then be called writing labs. And it coincides with the course material and the textbook material of that week. And they're drag and drop. Well, there's a combination of, oops, I already did this one, hold on. Anyways, the students have to interact to complete this. And then once they finish it, then they'll get the point for it. And that's in weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. And those are embedded in the course, so there shouldn't be any issues with them. But if there are, just let your FSDA know, or you can email me and I'll help you out as best I can. Week 3, their assignment is the rough draft. It's not all that different from a normal rough draft, but in terms of what your requirements are as an instructor, we really want you to focus giving them detailed feedback on this rough draft. Week 3 is kind of like the most important week in the course, really, because they rely on our feedback to help them with their paper. So we're looking for some great advice and direction and feedback for this week 3 assignment. And you're all content experts, so we all have faith in you, but if you have any questions, just let me know. Week 4. Okay. One interesting change on week 4 is something called the personal reflection essay quiz. And the reason why we titled it an essay quiz is because it's set up like a quiz in the course, but it functions as an essay. And I'm just skipping to that right now. So just hold on. Okay, here we go. It's a personal space for students to have kind of a one-on-one conversation with their instructor. This kind of takes the place of any office hours that we have, but it also takes the place of a formal waypoint assignment submission. But it's a space for students to write about 2 things that they feel are going really well with the writing process in their essay, 2 things that have been a little bit more difficult for them, and then we want them to ask you 2 to 3 specific items that they are struggling with. Students have to do this by Thursday, by day 3, but you have until Monday, day 7, to go in there and give your responses. We are requiring that instructors respond to every single one of these essay quizzes, because students are asking you questions and needing help, and they need your guidance. And this shouldn't be that big of a deal for workload, because since there's only one discussion board, you're just the minimum requirements when there's one discussion board is 6 substantive responses. So, you'll do 6 responses in the discussion board for week 1, and then all your other effort and time will be going towards these essay quiz responses. And so that's just another thing I wanted to mention about just having one discussion board. So university requirements is that you only need to post 6 responses over 3 days. That's minimum. We encourage more than that. You could do 12. Pretend it's, your normal work week with 2 discussions. Essentially, the discussion board prompts for students are much more involved this time around, so they should be doing a lot more writing, which in turn means that you'll have a lot more to respond to. But if you decide to only do the minimum 6, just know that that means minimum. So when we go through the course and we do your yearly evaluation, it's not like you're going to be looked down upon for not doing more than 6, but it is just the minimum work that is put in. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But just to sum up, we encourage you to post more than 6 over those 3 days. And then the personal essay quiz will need all of your responses. And then week 5, there are 2 discussion boards this week. This is the only week out of the whole course that has 2. The first one is that response to reading, like in week 1 and in week 2. And then the theme for this week is communication, speaking out. And so there's really no differences there, just 3 different essays that students have to read. And then the second discussion is kind of the stepping stone to Gen 103 and English 122. We're having students go into the library and take a stab at research. And it's, it's low stakes. It's only for their discussion board, so it's not like they have to worry about integrating this extra, research into their essay or anything. But there's several tutorials here that they need to view, and then they go into the library, they find an essay that speaks to the other essay that they've already been writing on, one of the 3 from those week 1, week 2, week 5 discussions. It could be the same outside essay that they've written their summative class final essay on, or it could be a different one. And all those directions are right here. So just make sure you read those thoroughly, and so you understand how to answer a student's question if they come to you. Really what we want them to do is get comfortable with digital literacy and research and being in that online library space and understanding how to search for scholarly articles or journals and how those connect to what they've already written. So I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions for this one, and just gently guide them. We're not expecting them to really do awesome on this discussion board because they're just starting out. But we want them to feel comfortable and not make them think it's a huge, scary thing to go research articles in the library. Another thing that we don't want to make them feel is huge and scary is APA format. Just like the previous version of 121, we are using APA format in this course, but we are not expecting perfect APA. We want them to get there someday, and we want them to use the resources in the Writing Center to help them with their APA, but we are not going to be dinging them harshly if they don't get it the first or second time around. They are required to integrate or incorporate a quote and a summary into their essay. They can do more than that, but minimum is one quote, one summary with proper APA citation at the end. Help them with that, direct them to where they can get help with that. We have all of those links in the course, but when you're looking at a prompt like this and you see these web pages, they might just kind of gloss over them. So just remind them the introduction to APA is right there. How to quote and summarize is right there. It's all at their fingertips, and it's all housed in the Ashford Writing Center. So those are stable links. They should not disappear. Let's see, what else am I missing? I think that's about it. I don't want to take up too much of your time going through and clicking through all of this because that's something that you can go through on your own. But just know the overview of the course is writing as a process. Each week is the theme of those parts of the writing process: brainstorming, outlining, revising, drafting, revising, and research. Mostly one discussion board per week, and no grammar quizzes, just these writing lab quizzes that help them connect those dots between what they're doing in the writing process and what the textbook is teaching them and what we want them to get out of it. Standardized guidances are available, but you are still required to post announcements. If you don't feel comfortable writing your own guidance for the first time you're teaching this new course, that's totally fine. You can just copy and paste what we've given to you and add your own YouTube videos. If you don't even want to do that, and you just want to focus on understanding the course for this first time around, that is okay too, but you still are required to post announcements. That's a university requirement. So, welcome announcements or reminders that grades have been posted, or themes that you see throughout the week, or if you find an interesting news article, something like that. Be creative. That's your space to show off your instructor expertise, but you're still required to do that. And I think that's it. The end of the course survey is still there, but it's not worth any points anymore. So that's good, but you see it's still plugged in there, but you won't see that in the grade book. So I will let you all go. I will give you time to poke around in your own courses when you are scheduled for them. Please do not hesitate to reach out with your questions. There's a space on our CEDL page for questions, and I will be checking them every afternoon. Myself or Becky Campbell will, or you could also email me directly. So thank you so much for what you do for our students, and I hope you are as excited for this new course as we are. We think it's a lot smoother now. It makes a lot more sense. The new CLOs are great. So enjoy, and thank you.